So, as first question, we would like to ask you, from what you got the idea to create Destiny? Why Destiny? Why this name? Why this universe?
It's a pretty big question. So, I mean, the studio has a pretty long legacy of choosing poor code names for games. They tend to stick. They tend to come up with like, oh, we'll call it Myth and we'll change the name later, or we'll call it Marathon and we'll change the name later. And so Destiny was no exception. It was Destiny at first, then became Project Tiger, because they weren't certain it was going to be the name. And over time, just sort of gravitated back. It just felt right with the story and felt right with the sort of the narrative of where our studio was at that point in time. Originally, we started working in concept phases in about 2009 with our founder Jason Jones, a small team that he sort of built to sort of go away and think about ideas and what they wanted the universe to be, what the palette would be, what the story would be, what the core pillars and design goals would be for the game. And then the team proper, Derek and myself, rolled on right after Reach, sort of end of 2010, to start working on the game in earnest. So Jones stood up at a theater locally and sort of pitched the idea to the full team, and we got on board and we started working on it.
What was the first thing that you created of Destiny? Was the gameplay or the universe?
Definitely like the foundational universe and the design pillars.
Yeah. I mean, because our team's so large, like, the small core team did the design pillars and concept art, lots of concept, while other teams prototyped and kind of came up with what we wanted to do.
Okay. Do you plan to expand the universe also with books, comics, and similar, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we have an appetite for. We don't have any announcements to make, but we'd love to think that the universe is rich enough to support other media, whatever that happens to be. Obviously, with Halo, we did a lot of that work. We got to work with a lot of really fun people, a lot of really creative people, and so it's definitely something that's very interesting for us.
Speaking of the gameplay, in the final version, the game types, will there be only with a fixed number of players, or will you have some specific game types with a lot of players or very few players?
6v6 is our max right now. We came to that after many prototypes and played with larger numbers, smaller numbers. 6v6 is kind of our sweet spot for the Destiny sandbox with all the super abilities and just the way the weapons work. More than that gets really chaotic. Actually, 6v6 can get pretty chaotic with all the supers. But yeah, that was kind of the sweet spot for the graphical fidelity and the size of the maps we wanted.
He's talking about competitive multiplayer, and we also have 3v3 modes, free-for-all modes as well, so you can have smaller scale engagements. Like skirmish, we'll turn revives on in multiplayer, which makes it feel a lot more tense and tactical. You sort of have to hunt around the map and find the team and be very smart about when you engage and when you don't. When you're out in the world, if you guys played the beta, I'm sure you probably did, you'll see more players coming into the world sort of constantly streaming it. But again, we want to make sure it's at any one given time small enough that your actions matter and are meaningful. People can see you and you can contribute, and it's not just this endless sea of people where you don't even get a shot in on the boss and feel like, well, what am I doing here, right? Or the tower where we can scale up and bring a lot more people in there as well, because it's intended to be a social experience. So most of those decisions, as Derek was alluding to, were based on playtest iteration. They're not technical limitations. They're more sort of like, does this feel the way we want it to feel? Is the mode competitive, or is this mode feel social? Can I talk to people, or is it just a sea of noise and I'm not able to stand out? So.
Do you plan to create some fun game types? Like stuff only with vehicles, or crazy stuff maybe with the ball, the football ball in the tower, some stuff like that? Do you have some plan?
Yeah, the future is wide open. For now, we have the game types that we're most interested in, so control and flash and things like that. So yeah, the ball in the tower is a fun thing. We're always looking for fun ways to...
Yeah, and we'll have a competitive multiplayer mode focused on the bigger maps and vehicles. Those things are, we want to make sure the foundational modes are there. So if you're looking for deathmatch or free-for-all, if you're looking for something a little more wide open, a little more chaotic, we'll have that.
But you don't plan to have a specific game type only for this stuff, like only for vehicles? Like race or similar?
I mean, the future, as Derek alluded to, we'll see what the community wants and what they ask for, and we'll be able to deliver a lot of that fun stuff. Pretty much all the core modes, if you look at what we've done in the past to support competitive multiplayer, whether it's new modes, new playlists, or new content, we want to do all of that and more with Destiny. So we want to do that inside of competitive multiplayer, cooperative multiplayer, the story content, all of it. So weapons and gear, like.
So you're ready to support both the pro players, the core players, and also the casual players that they want just fun stuff?
Yeah, we tend not to see that black and white. Like, we know those groups exist, but we tend to look at players, and our goal is to make players omnivorous, right? We want them to try all the content. I think everything that we've made is pretty cool, and there's a lot out there to experience. I think one of the coolest parts of Destiny is because you're creating that character and all the gear that you get matters in every mode. You kind of get compelled to play everything. Play the story, but you also go and you do strikes and maybe use that as a warm-up for competitive multiplayer before going back to the tower. And so there's this really cool, like, gravitational pull that moves you around the world. It'd be almost criminal to just build up one specific mode over another. We know that players, even in Halo, where it was sort of seen from the outside as, it's all just competitive players. It wasn't. Like, people would play tons of the story. I mean, there are people right now still playing the story to assemble, like, collections of vehicles, more than 10 years on, they're like Rock Slider at HBO still breaking the game and doing really crazy stuff with it. So he's got tens of thousands of hours in just the story stuff. So it's cool behavior, and we want to support it, and people get value out of it.
Will it be possible to create custom games private, only, multiplayer match, only really private with your friends?
So right now we're supporting 7 playlists at launch. We have the sort of defined core experiences that we want players to have, and we have rotating playlists that come in. They're sort of eventized, like a banner that you saw. And our goal is to make sure that wherever you move, whether you're looking for something intense or competitive, you can sort of select that, almost like a television channel. And that's not just competitive multiplayer, but across the entire game. So you're choosing to go into these modes, and then we're going to match you with another player. So you're sort of selecting, I want to do free-for-all right now, or I want to do control right now, and go and get exactly what you want.
Okay. What about the customization in the final version of the game? Will it be exactly like we have seen in the alpha and in the beta, or you plan to add something, maybe even with expansions, you plan to add something, or it will be basically that?
For the gear, like customizing?
The appearance is right, when you create your guardian.
Yeah, so the beta only had a small slice of the gear that we have for each class. So each class has many, many sets of gear that you can unlock and build up and customize. And I don't think shaders were in the beta at all.
No, they weren't. So yeah, there's the beta taken to level 8. You're really not even starting to see the really sort of fun, crazy stuff. So the higher the level, typically the more sort of exotic the weapons start to look. So you'll start to get holographic stuff. You'll start to get more fantasy-driven elements, fire, flames, effects, horns. You start to get really exotic looking. The player creator itself was pretty emblematic of what we're going to ship with. Yeah. But again, in the future, players ask for different stuff from people wanting whatever it is, more modes, more variants on guns. Like, there's a whole wide open path for us. So we want to make sure we ship a really great game. It's really fun. It lives up to our vision and our legacy and our heritage and all the expectations. But we're also committed to making sure we support it long term. Part of that is, of course, listening to the community and understanding what our players want from us. And I think it makes a lot of sense for us to sort of lay this really great foundation and then listen and react to what people want.
Are you also maybe planning to release small packs, add-ons with armors and weapons? Or you are against this and you don't want to sell just package or armor and weapons?
So the only thing we've announced in terms of post-launch content is the Dark Mola, which will ship in, that will have weapons and gear in it. Again, if we find people just want weapons and gear and they find that really valuable, we're open to it.
Okay. One last question about Europe and specifically Italy. Do you have some plan to support Destiny more in Europe, or you plan to focus more on USA, America, or also Europe is important for you? What do you think of that?
We're here, right? Yeah, so I've been to Gamescom twice now supporting Destiny. We went to Milan for the Games Week, or Game Show, Paris Games Week. The game itself, we have resources set up globally to make sure that everybody gets a really great connection. The level of service is great no matter where you play. That's new for us. Obviously, being partnered with Activision, they're a global publisher who's ships products well beyond the United States. It was a really important goal for us from the very beginning to reach a bigger audience with Destiny. So hopefully you guys are seeing that support out there, and I think the game is going to be pretty awesome in any region you play it in.
Yeah, for example, Italy, we have the Milan Games Week, and the Italian fans are really hyped for this because they would really love to meet you guys. It's soon, it's in
it was there last year,
October.
They were so excited they brought the building down. Like, they were pretty energized fans.
Yeah, so do you know if you will be there, or?
I don't have any announcements. I mean, we're pretty busy moving towards ship on September 9th, and then beyond that, I would love to go on the company's dime to Milan again. It was amazing. So I'd love to say yes, but we'll see what the future holds.
Okay.
We'll definitely be there for community. We have people on the ground there already that you work with. Francesca and some of the people there that we work with every day. So we talk to them all the time and make sure you guys are getting what you need, and they need to help you support you guys. So we're going to continue that.
Okay. For the question, we got all our answers.
Awesome.
And one last thing that we would like to ask you, if you can say hello to our community.
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe in Italian, if you feel...
Ciao. Ciao. The tower? What do you call it?
The tower. Yeah.
The tower.
So, ciao, the tower. It's nice to be here at Gamescom. Hope to see you soon in Milan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.